Forget the idea that becoming smart requires decades of classrooms and mountains of debt. You don't need to spend years in endless schooling to be intelligent. In fact, true intelligence is far more accessible than you've been led to believe. If you're like most of us, when you think of getting smarter, you're thinking of a few key things. It's about gaining useful, even profitable skills. It's about becoming a problem solver, someone who can tackle challenges effectively. Maybe it's about mastering complex subjects, not just for career advancement, but for personal growth. And let's be honest, it's also about being articulate and knowledgeable in conversations, commanding respect without being arrogant. The internet is flooded with generic advice that sounds good, but isn't actionable. We've all heard it. Eat brain foods, get more sleep, and listen to classical music. While these habits are generally healthy, they aren't a shortcut to intelligence. True learning requires more than just passive habits. So what truly works? It's simple, but powerful. Prioritize active learning through reading and application. Reading, especially nonfiction, is fundamental. It expands your knowledge base and gives you the ability to engage in meaningful conversations. For example, reading a book on history can make you sound incredibly knowledgeable. But here's a crucial tip. How you present your knowledge is just as important as what you know. Avoid being a well-actually person. Instead of correcting people in a condescending way, try a more gentle approach. Here's an example. Instead of saying, "Well, actually, humans didn't evolve from chimpanzees," try something like, "That's interesting. I recently learned that humans and chimpanzees share a common ancestor and evolved alongside each other." See the difference? You share the information without making the other person feel inferior. Finding valuable books is easier than you think. Don't feel limited to the same old bestsellers. Identify topics you're genuinely curious about. For example, if you want to learn about home organization, search for books on that specific topic. You can find a wealth of resources online and in libraries. Many books are available in digital formats, making them easily accessible. But reading is only the first step. To truly internalize knowledge, you must apply it. Here are two key principles to remember when learning any new skill. First, practice is essential. Your brain prioritizes information it deems useful. If you don't use what you learn, you'll forget it. Second, focus on the critical 20% of information that gives you 80% of the results. This is the core concept of efficient learning. Think of it as a learning curve. You make rapid progress initially, but consistent practice is key to continued improvement. You don't learn to swim by just watching someone swim. You have to get in the water. Similarly, reading makes you smarter when you actively apply what you learn. So if you read a chapter about decluttering, put those tips into action immediately. Clean a room. Organize a drawer. This cements the knowledge in your mind. What if you can't immediately practice something? For example, if you're reading about car mechanics but don't have a car to work on, you could still practice mentally. Visualize the process. If the book explains how to jump-start a car, imagine the scenario, watch a video, and mentally walk yourself through the steps. By simulating the experience, you convince your brain that the information is useful, making it more likely to be retained. This is far more effective than simply trying to memorize steps. This principle of applying knowledge is the foundation of the education system. Tests and exams are designed to create artificial situations where you need to use the information. However, the problem with traditional schooling is that often, once the test is over, the knowledge is forgotten because its perceived usefulness ends. To combat this, focus on practice questions and real-world application. Practice questions simulate the situations where you'd actually use the knowledge, leading to better retention. If you don't have practice questions, create your own. To make it even more effective, create high-stakes scenarios for your practice. Imagine you need this information to solve a critical problem. This will further motivate your brain to retain the information. This is why textbooks are incredibly effective learning tools. They are packed with information and practice questions, minimizing fluff and maximizing learning. While they may not be as entertaining as a video, they are a powerful way to gain expertise quickly. If you're ready to take on the challenge of textbook learning, there are resources available where you can find digital textbooks on virtually any subject. So, focus on active learning, apply what you learn, and create those high-stakes practice scenarios. That's the real key to unlocking your potential and becoming truly intelligent.